Hello and welcome to Carbitrage Podcast, episode 91. I'm Eric Berger. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Ryan Zanitsky. Hello, sir.
And
of course, Jana's Sneeze. Welcome back. We missed you last week.
Starting the episode out with a bang.
I do love just the absurdity of this podcast, which I think is why we all still do it. But
so we are going to have a couple of shorter episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to Finland
in a couple hours.
At the worst possible time.
Yeah, it's beautiful and like 52 degrees outside here. Spring has sprung. Everything is gorgeous, and I'm heading to a place where it barely hits 40 right now.
That's terrible.
For a week.
Why?
And I don't have enough PTO for the entire trip.
Why did you do this?
I don't.
This is a terrible
It was
decision.
like 6 months ago that we were scheduled to go or whatever, and then my mom got breast cancer, so we had to delay this.
Okay.
She's fine now. She's fine now. But this trip got pushed, and then like I had like my whole thing was planned.
Are your parents going?
They are later, so I'm going with my older brother.
This
Mark
is
and his wife and kids.
This is exactly how all of your trips always go. Just like when we went to Monterey.
Dude, my trips always end up being a total shit show.
By we going to Monterey, I mean you going to Monterey because you chose the wrong date.
I didn't even book this flight.
and then I went the correct date.
Although I had a great time.
And you're gonna have a great
We
time now.
saw a completely different set of things. It was wonderful.
Yeah, you're gonna have a great time this time too, so it'll be fine.
And since I'm not burning as much PTO, we'll have more time so we can go. Well, sorry, I can go the entire time for Monterey this week. Hopefully, not week, year. I'm dumb as hell. So, anyway, let's hop right into it since these will be approximately 30 or 35-minute episodes.
Yes.
I want to talk about our first story, which is relating to the toyobaru BRZ GT86Z.
Oh, yeah.
A car that we all love very dearly that came to our shores, I believe, in 2012.
We should also add the token Subaru that you like.
Yeah, it is the token Subaru that I actually appreciate. So, this car has been around, like I said, since about 2012, and it is confirmed we are getting a second-generation model.
Good.
And it will be a joint venture again. I assume it will still have an FA series engine. Hopefully they bring us one with more power. FB would be even better if they give us a turbo. But yeah, that's big news because this is basically one of the few cars left that is still an enthusiast vehicle sold with a manual.
I don't think it needs more horsepower.
I also don't. I've driven one. I thought it was a blast. It needs to.
Exclusively. I feel like I'm like we are the only people that don't. We are the only automotive media outfit other than Japanese nostalgia car that says the FT86 whatever. Does not need more power.
Well, it doesn't need more power, and I'm confident of that. But what it does need is a tune to flatten out that torque curve, which might involve parts changes.
I was actually going to say what it needs is a big, fat, wide torque curve.
Yep. Yeah, they just need to optimize the curve, and then it's fine.
To be honest, I would take slightly less torque to have that torque come on at like 1,500 RPM.
And I think that's doable because people have proved
even,
with like Everyday Driver, another really great podcast. Todd Deacon, one of the co-hosts, owned an FT86 for a while. Mm-hmm. Or that's what I'm going to call it, FT86. I don't know what we're going to call it. It doesn't matter. You guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're going to call it FT86.
He put a set of headers on it and then just did a flash. And the car gained 5 foot-pounds of torque everywhere, and it flattened it, like flat.
Perfect.
It still had cats, everything. Like, you didn't mess with anything.
Yeah,
they just put a set of headers on it and flashed it. So, like, if they just do that for us, they're great.
I think that'd be perfect. I think the only other thing I would really, really want them to add would be either a Targa top or a convertible.
Right when this came out, I think it was actually probably a year after, but there was an auto show, I think it was Geneva, where they had a drop top one, and it looked beautiful. It was a great looking car.
Well, my only reason for saying that is it's not even like an enthusiast thing; it's a sales thing.
Just for Miata competition or what?
No, when I was selling when I was selling Subarus, it's kind of like the manual Outback, where I sold precisely one BRZ when I was working there. Well, new. I'm only counting new numbers. But I sold one new BRZ the entire time I worked there. But the thing is, I had 3 people that were like shoe-ins that ended up buying Miatas. Because they really wanted a Miata with 4 seats that was still cheap.
Well, the thing is,
it doesn't exist.
I think the convertible prototype we saw for the first gen only was a 2-seater.
Yeah, I think what they need to do, that's not saying maybe like a Targa top.
A Targa would be a good compromise.
Yeah, where you could get like the sport top on the Subaru, you can just remove it. Or just a hard top where you just manually remove the whole hard top like you would on a R107.
Or they could bring back T-tops.
T-tops would be. This is a perfect application for T-tops.
It
actually,
really is.
like this is
because the storage space is limited.
You've limited storage space. You want to have the convertible feel. You still have to pass safety regulations, and you don't want to saddle it with like 400 pounds of dead weight. So
and for track day stuff, I mean, Targas kind of fall into the convertible category sometimes where they won't let you run because the panel can pop off and it can dig in. But a T-top, I've never really seen anything about that.
No, so. T-tops are fine. I mean, because even if you take a T-top out, you still have that bar in the center.
Yeah, which does wonders for retaining rigidity and all that kind of stuff. So.
You know, another thing with that, that would also really, really appeal to a lot of people that are actually in the market for one of those cars. Because most of the people that are looking for a BRZ...
Are you giving genuine consumer advice?
Yeah, I am, actually.
Okay, interesting.
A lot of people that are looking for a BRZ... they're usually in their mid-30s, late 30s.
Really?
Early 40s even.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I guess the one's buying them first,
new. That's like the bracket. I mean, they're totally aiming for 25 years old, but it's like Scion.
That's the second-hand
Scion was aiming for like young drivers, and they just got old people.
They like the commanding feel of the road out of the XB.
Yeah, but no, it's a lot of people that are, like, young fathers and stuff like that, where you still want to have a fun car. These are also the same people that had Countach posters and really wanted, like, a third-gen Firebird when they were 16.
Well, the first-gen BRGT Z86 people were. I think the second-gen ones are going to be the early 90s posters, so they're going to be early Diablo poster people.
But still, it's the same concept. You still had a lot of T-tops in the 90s.
These cars are just a beautiful thing because they're fun to drive, they're inexpensive, and you can convince your significant other that it's a good idea.
Yeah, and I think with the T-top, it's also going to appeal to the sort of like postmodern aspect of that market, where they're going to be like, oh, rad, it's got T-top just like my old Firebird that my buddy had. Like
think
when
of
I was
the
in
nostalgia.
High school. Yeah, the nostalgia values me through the roof. It would be perfect. So there is that. Now, speaking of nostalgia, Ayrton Senna's birthday was over the weekend.
I saw that, and I love the photo that you found for the Carbitrage Facebook page. That was a very good candid shot of him very lovingly washing his NSX.
I found that years ago when I wrote an article about it for Honda Roots.
If you want more pictures of Ayrton Senna, the pink laptop's full of them.
Yeah, she's got like a sauce folder of just Ayrton Senna. I think she's got one with his shirt off even.
That's just a spank bank.
It's for my wallpaper.
I
swear.
Research.
Yeah, research.
It's for science.
Jana, I do want to ask you, how do you feel about there being a second generation BRZ, and what would you like to see with that?
Well, I think the first gen was really cool. I'm trying to move.
No, you're good. I don't want to crank it too much here.
Yeah, I like the first gen, but I never drove one, so like can't really say anything on driving. But everybody like I don't think
you could just do what everyone else does and pretend they have, and then talk about it with authority.
I don't think. I'm just going off of the Subarus I have driven.
Okay.
You don't need to drive them fast to enjoy how they drive. Like they handle really well, and that's where you get the fun out of it. Like you can drive it on the highway and still have as much fun, I assume.
Yeah, the non-turbo Subarus seem like they're momentum cars, which is nice.
Yeah, and like I don't know, a Subaru is really good at having all the features you want, but you can disable them if you don't want them, which
that would be nice.
Yeah, make sure you can turn off traction
control. Unlike that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, your Tesla?
Stupid Tesla can't turn the traction control off on.
Well, yeah, so it
just because he didn't get the ludicrous mode.
I didn't get a rear-wheel drive one.
LOL.
But yeah, so like I like that you can do that. So I think they should continue keep up with the tech, so the people that want the tech can have it, but make it disable the ability to disable it for the people that are like
right, and that's the enthusiast thing. I mean, they care about the little stuff like is the traction control fully defeatable, so I can put it sideways.
Well, like you can even like turn off like the sensors that tell you you're
blind spot monitors.
Okay, that's nice.
So you can like turn off everything.
And that's the thing. That's a great point actually, because modern features on cars like sure, put them in if they're mandated, but like give us the option to turn them off. Well, like the rev match features and a lot of these cars and things like that.
What I really appreciate about Subaru is that not only can you turn them off, you can turn them off individually.
That's nice. That's not just a blanket like,
no.
Hey,
everything
so
off,
I don't want traction control, so I also don't get a rear view camera, blind spot monitors.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you can
auto brake
like that. Like nobody gives Subaru credit for that, but like
that's huge.
Yeah, you can take an Outback 3.6R, leave everything on, turn off traction control.
And it's off?
And it's off. I know that for a fact because I know that the rear end will kick out on that car if you're at full lock and you just jam on the throttle.
Very fine.
And that's even with a CVT. Like, but no, that's the thing is like even with the CVT, it'll still be able to kick the rear end out if you try hard enough. Like that's something that nobody ever really talks about. I think that you're on a really good point there with the FT86 that it's really important since it is a driver's car. You don't want to pull a Volvo and put like Big Brother into the car.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, I don't want I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but like I really don't like some of the modern features where they're like tracking all your moves and like I'm sure it's fine, but part of me is like I want to be able to just say no to that if
Are you telling Subaru that no means no?
Yes, exactly.
No means no.
And I also,
that should be our no.
Hashtag.
I think I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says that no means no.
Yeah, well, you gotta qualify it with something. You can't just put no means no on a T-shirt.
No means no really big, and then at the bottom, I want to say all traction control should be fully defeatable. That's what it'll say.
No, just like the traction control off button.
Yeah, the icon with the line through it.
Exactly.
That's a great shirt idea. Oh my God. None of you listeners steal that. I will come after you if you do.
Well, no, I mean,
it's been documented.
Actually, I'll just buy one if you make it.
It just documented. We've just documented that we came up with it.
That's us now. That's a Carbitrage thing.
10:49 at
it's actually 12:50 Central.
Right. Yeah, 10:50
Western
Central.
Time. Pacific time.
At March 23rd, 2019.
It's 12:50 p.m. at March 23rd, 2019.
It's 10:50. In case somebody gets a hot idea.
Our stream computer it loves California. Is what that is.
Another feature in Subarus that like I find enjoyable that I would like on this is that the hood, you can stop the hood from the trunk from going up so far.
Mm-hmm. I do like that about this too.
Yeah,
you can set it and then it remembers it.
Yeah, because like I'm short and like I've got a surgery scar, so it hurts to lift up. As far as
that's not as important on a BRZ, but yeah,
no,
it's still things like that.
Are you telling me that surgery scars are not important on BRZs?
But yeah, so like that's something that I look at when.
It's water softener.
Yeah.
So loud.
So that's something that I look at when I'm in a car, and I know more people are like, well, it saves weight, but it's a modern car. Like it's already a heavy car. Why not throw in the?
Well, it's actually not. Well, I don't know which Subaru you're talking about, but like the BRZ is one of the lightest cars sold.
Well,
I mean, it's
really,
much heavier than a Miata.
Most Subarus are shockingly light for what they are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that you kind of get it when you look at like how thin the plastics are, and like the interiors really aren't necessarily up to spec with their competition, but it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and say you need to try the touring trim level.
They don't change the bumpers and paint, though.
No, they don't. But the interior.
I believe you.
A touring trim level.
I saw an Ascent with a high level Ascent. I'm like, oh, this interior is actually competitive now.
Yeah, no, Subaru's interiors for the last 5 years have been very competitive, and especially the touring. I mean, if you take a touring Outback, I've actually had several customers at work now that have done this, where they've gone from an Audi A6.
I was gonna say a Q5
or a Q5 or a Phaeton and Touaregs, and they've all. I tried my hardest to push them into Subaru like touring trim level Outbacks because that's by far the plushest, most comfortable Subaru you can get, and only one of them had a single complaint about it, and the person who had a complaint was coming from a manual A6. So it's like their only complaint was it didn't have a manual.
Sure.
And which that's 100%.
That's valid.
Valid complaint.
Especially if the A6 wasn't a 3-liter. So. But anyway, let's talk about Ayrton Senna's birthday. I'm sorry to jump past that.
Yeah. It's Ayrton Senna's birthday. He would have been 59 years old last week.
I thought you said 69.
I think
it's 59.
Wrong. It's 59 because he was born in 19. I'll double check.
He died in 94, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just double checking his birthday.
No worries.
I don't want to get anything wrong.
Especially about someone else.
We're going to end up hitting 45-minute episodes anyway, but if we aim for 30, we'll do well.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't talk too much. You all listen too much.
So, yeah, he was born in 1960, so yeah, it'd be 59.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, because my 2002 is 1967, and that's a 50-year-old car. So. 51.
Yeah, so March 21st, 1960. He passed away May 1st, 1994. It is sad. But we don't celebrate the day he died. We celebrate the day that he was born.
Yeah, it's like not having a funeral. It's having a life anniversary. So there you go.
Yeah, he was the greatest, most entertaining race car driver of all time. If you've never watched Ayrton Senna race.
He either wins or he went off the track taking somebody else with him to try to win.
Yes, he
doesn't come in anything but first.
No, he does not.
He's a DNFer is first. That's it.
Well, he and Alain Prost always had beef because Alain Prost is like a very political driver.
Okay.
Which is his teammate back in the day. And he's very political. And Alain Prost is like, I'm okay taking a third if I get more points. So Ayrton Senna, he didn't care. He's like, no, I want to get first. Like, I'm a race car driver.
The point is to win.
The point is to win.
Yeah.
So
the interviews from him, he's just like stone-faced, no emotion, but like a huge philanthropic guy, just a really, really great person.
Oh, yeah, he's still like one of the like stars of Brazil. So you can still go to Brazil. You can still get modern like racing helmets that have his really cool helmet design, which might be the coolest helmet in the history of racing.
Ayrton's great.
Yes, so it's we still miss you, Ayrton. However, I don't want this whole episode to be a Debbie Downer. So let's move on.
Let's move on to America.
Yes, America.
So you guys are all familiar with the F-150 Raptor, right?
Yes.
The vehicle that's in its second generation, the absurd thing that's got these factory Fox shocks. It's designed to be just absolutely hooned and pillaged.
Yes.
About 2 years ago, they came out with the second gen truck, which it gave everyone what they wanted. They gave them the 3.5-liter second gen EcoBoost, great engine, direct injection with port injection for cleaning it out, twin turbo, runs KKK KO4 turbos, really, really solid piece. Made the thing more fuel economy, more economical, with fuel. Much faster, and then they also just made the truck a lot better. But now they're adding a second engine possibility, which is an option, of course, and it's from Ford's Shelby division, and that would be the overhead cam 5.8-liter supercharged V8 out of the Shelby GT500.
I thought it was a 5.2.
The old one was a 5.4, the new one's a 5.8.
Ooh. Okay.
I could be mistaken on that, but if it's the more
yeah, I think
you're right. It's a different engine, but probably very similar. The one in the GT500 at least was a 5.8.
Well, now it's a 5.2, but still,
it does show it on the stream, so everyone can tell them for the shit.
5 point something.
It's a 5+ liter supercharged engine making about 700 horsepower.
Is any of this that you're telling me factual?
No, God, no. Just if you're listening to me, just read what's on the screen, and then that's going to be better.
Currently, it's got 450. However,
that's the V6. No. The V8's 700 horsepower.
Oh, okay. But no, that's actually very cool.
The base engine's 450 horse.
That's really, really going to be awesome.
Yeah. V8 noises out of your motor.
I mean, I'm not like a huge truck person. However, I do love that trucks are more or less immune to most emissions.
Yeah, somehow they don't get like gas guzzler tax and
it's because they're classified as like
commercial vehicles.
Yeah, a commercial vehicle. So that's actually why
bananas.
That's why in the late 70s, Dodge Little Red Express truck.
Oh, I love that thing. I saw one last year going around my parents'
they're rad.
lake.
They're so cool. But anyway, that was like the fastest accelerating vehicle in America when it was made, because it could get around emissions, and they were able to like take off like a second set of catalytic converters that they had to throw onto the like charger or whatever. And so it made it significantly faster by not being laden with emissions garbage. And that's also why
everything from that generation or era was.
Yeah, and that's also why that the Cyclones and the Typhoons were able to do what they were, because they didn't have emissions and safety regulations to deal with.
They did still have catalysts and all that kind of stuff, but they were much later generation.
Not as strict.
Right. Well, the technology was just much
and so
better.
like trucks have like significantly more lax safety regulations, and that helps a lot with being able to make. Yeah. It helps a lot with being able to do what they do. I mean, and that's how you see them. Like they're totally fine getting through like DOT inspections, and then like NHTSA crash tests them, they get like a 1.
And then they still throw it on sale and they sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, exactly, because nobody cares.
But I like the Raptor. That's one of my favorite non-manual vehicles for sale. And I wouldn't buy one, but
to be honest, I am questioning if I'd even want to get that in the manual, because the last thing I want to do is be off-roading, and miss a shift because I went
No,
over
you
a
definitely would
bump.
want that in a manual.
I guess, yeah.
I was like, the FJ is
Well,
great.
actually, no. Those transmissions have that issue with the computer, forcing them in the first gear.
Downshift it. Yeah.
One of my technicians has
heard about
one of those
that.
trucks, and his did it to him.
For those listening, the automatics will randomly downshift and sometimes even money shift the engine. They downshift to the wrong gear. Yeah.
His almost did. One of my technicians at work, his is weird clunky. He goes, "Oh, that's weird on the highway." And he pulls off onto a side street, and he's driving up to University. And he's going 30, and money shifts it from third to first, and jerks his face into the steering wheel.
Ow.
Luckily, he was only going 30, so it sent him
banging the limiter,
just shy of the rev limiter in first. So, but it's still that's not something I'd want to happen.
Oh yeah, I mean it's worth noting that these have a 10-speed automatic transmission, which is just too many ratios. Mm-hmm. But it's Ford. That's their kind of big three supercharged V8 right now. We've got the LT. 9 or whatever the crap. We've got the Hellcat motor, and now this.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And it's much smaller displacement, so maybe it's slightly more economical. I don't know.
Speaking of American cars,
yes.
I saw a man with a Challenger yesterday in traffic.
That happens.
And it was a 4-wheel drive, and that man is a fool.
Oh, the GT or whatever they call that thing?
That man is a fool because he thinks that he needs 4-wheel drive in his Challenger.
My car thief in the winter because it has all-wheel drive.
And you know who I'm blaming for this?
Trump?
Subaru.
Oh, okay.
Because Subaru does not make a Impreza coupe with all-wheel drive.
What?
They don't.
I guess you're right. They don't make a coupe, yeah.
Yeah, they used to. Back in the 90s, the 2.5 RS, and it was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, but they haven't sent, they didn't make a coupe WRX, did they?
The 2.5 RS was the WRX with the NA engine.
Well, yeah, but
It's
not a
their fault.
WRX.
It is all Subaru's fault, and they just need to lob 2 doors off of the current WRX.
I'm actually fine with that. I'm fine with blaming Subaru for things that they have very little to do with.
It's all Subaru's fault.
Okay, fine.
Now,
let's talk about
I
your
want
story.
to talk about the new Morris Marina.
Yes.
This is
I'm
excited for this.
Allow me to pull this up. Is it susceptible to piano damage like the old ones were?
Yes, and this one is a fantastic family car, and is actually an Aston Martin Vanquish Zagato.
Aston Martin?
I don't care.
It is an Aston Martin.
I don't care, but it looks cool.
I was going to say, this looks oddly like an Aston Martin, Ryan, not a Morris.
Well, it looks awesome. That's what it looks like.
It looks like a Volvo P1800 modern take, but made by Aston Martin.
That's exactly what I like about it.
There you go.
Remember when Bones went to to England, and he ended up with an Austin Mini because he asked for an Aston Martin instead of an Aston Martin.
That's what's going to happen to you.
And I'll be fine.
Is this going to be an Austin Maxi?
Oh, that'd be perfect.
I like that.
They call it the Princess.
It actually was an Austin Maxi. I don't remember what it was, but
I think it looked kind of like the Princess that they had.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate shooting brakes?
Yeah, shooting brakes are where
shooting
it's
brakes
at.
are great.
Like that.
Just
that car is
practicality.
perfect.
It's like just a smooshed hatchback.
I love talking to I love talking to people at work that aren't car enthusiasts, and they're shocked when I tell them that a lot of the best cars you can get today are wagons, and they're like, "What?"
That's true.
Because they're like, these are a lot of people that still assume it's a Griswold family wagon.
The truckster, yeah, the body on frame giant American thing.
I'm like, no, you get a WRX wagon, or you get
Even that Buick thing now. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I tried to get Jam to look at it, and she wouldn't give it the time of day.
Oh, dude, it's gorgeous. Saw one at the auto show. It's a great car.
Well, I was talking to somebody, and I'm like, yeah, the S6, they made a wagon of it.
Yep.
You had all the Subaru wagons.
Mercedes still sells a metric ton of E-Class wagons.
Yeah, the E-Class AMG wagon.
Even just the regular
IS300 had a wagon.
Yeah, the Sportback.
The Sportback, actually.
Sportback, sorry.
Yeah, Sportback.
I don't know.
But she was totally shocked, and she's like, why would anybody want that? I'm like, first off, wagons look better. They are awesome.
Way more practical.
And furthermore, when you're going to a track day, you don't want to take your track tires down the highway, so you throw them in the back of your wagon.
Darn right.
Your sedan will not fit track tires into it with a jack, but your wagon will. And she goes, that actually makes perfect sense. I'm like, exactly. Why do they even make anything other than coupes, wagons, and then
I don't like coupes.
And then a 3-box sedan. That's the only 3 things that should exist.
Fine.
There's no business having a crossover. That should take a hike.
But what about like hypercars and stuff like that? I like those.
That doesn't count.
But
because I also didn't talk about pickups either, but I'm talking about just normal cars.
Fine.
Normal cars. That's
the things you daily driver. You get 3 options.
Yeah, you get those 3 options. That's what you should have. Maybe a van.
Oh, vans are great.
And if it's a van,
let's get rid of a coupe and put van in there.
No, I want the coupe.
Fine.
But yeah, so that's just the thing. You need to have those 3 options. Crossovers shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
and that isn't a testament to why crossovers should not exist.
Yeah, like.
Did you just say a testament?
And a testament.
I think you're ignoring the fact that people have children if you're just saying
those people don't count.
Have 3rd rows.
Yeah, they do.
Some of them do. The E-Class one does.
Yeah, but actually a lot of them do. It wasn't until the minivan came around that the 3rd row disappeared from wagons. Because all the 240s had wagon options. Burger's Tesla has a
sure does. I'll find one of those and put it in someday.
Yeah, they exist.
I threw a trailer hitch on that thing. Man, okay, in order to do the 3rd row retrofit properly in that car, you need to change the bumper bar in the back to be a stronger one for crash safety or whatever. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe anyone would do that retrofit with actually doing that bumper bar, because that was a tough job.
Did you do it?
Yeah, well, I didn't do the 3rd seat retrofit because I don't have the parts yet.
But you got the bumper bar.
Well, I put the hitch in, which is as strong as the updated bumper bar, but like just getting to that bar was like, it took me almost 2 hours.
Wow.
And I'm pretty good at that stuff. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the...
All right, back to domestic stuff. I feel weird talking about only domestic.
One second.
Yeah, go for it. Sure.
Jana, what's your take on the new Aston Martin?
I'm sorry, I already took it down.
It is nice. It's nice. That's what she said.
That's a good reigning endorsement from Jana, so I'm accepting that.
For something that's not affordable or practical
or French,
that's about as good as you can get. That's nice.
Good. The fact that
she's wearing your 2CV shirt.
De Chabot. I hope I see some of those.
And if you look at it, the background, the shadow's a duck. And the French nickname is the Little Tin Duck.
Renard. That's the French word for duck. Anyway, I want to talk about GM briefly because I have to sneak at least one electrification thing in here. So we talked.
Mary Barrow, the person
your favorite person ever.
Now that Gone is gone, and she might be my number 1 on my shit list.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, she closed a bunch of factories, got rid of almost all of GM's cars, canceled the Volt, canceled pretty much all of Cadillac's car offerings. Just a bunch of bad stuff. What they're doing now, though, is they are pledging to invest $300 million and, in turn, adding about 400 jobs in Orion, I think it is. Is that right? Yeah, Orion, Ohio, or something like that. I don't know. I think it's a plant.
That's significantly less jobs than they just.
I was gonna say, I'm like, that sounds great, but didn't they just cut 1,400 jobs? Yeah,
they just cut 1,400. I think it's just from Lordstown, Ohio alone.
I mean, yeah, cutting like the cruise production, that was a ton of people, and that factory is still.
And it's like off. It's like you really can just like take a cruise, lift it 3 inches, and then put like a wagon on the end of it.
Especially because this investment right here is planning to make 1 or 2 new vehicles based on the Bolt. And the Bolt is not all that dissimilar from the Cruise. So you could make a new Cruise EV.
The thing is, they closed the factory,
right?
But they didn't sell the property.
Right. So they may repurpose it.
It's like, how much more can you fuck a community?
Seriously. Don't be wishy-washy.
I'm going to take away your jobs. Oh, so I'm going to own the largest piece of property in your town.
And we're going to make some new jobs really far away from you.
And hopefully you guys do all right. Right? Like, that's garbage. Because, like, if they at least sold it, like, it's somebody like Daihatsu or, like, one of the Chinese manufacturers or something.
Yeah,
Ssangyong not really Daihatsu, but, like...
But a Chinese auto manufacturer would jump at the fact of an updated...
GAW would totally buy that factory. And that factory is big enough, and they have enough clout in Mexico.
That's pretty modern tooling, too.
Yeah, they have enough clout in Mexico that they could totally make that in America, get enough goodwill that they could then move to the American market.
Right, and that's coming. I just don't know exactly how they'll get in, but yeah, that would have been a great way for them to get cheaply into the American market.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, I concur.
So I mean, I'm obviously really excited about more EVs. I'm excited about the prospect of new GM vehicles based on the technology of the Volt. The Bolt.
Yeah, the Bolt. The Volt sucks. The Bolt's great.
The Volt was actually a decent car, but the Bolt is a really great car, but it's ugly as sin. I sent Scott a screenshot. Well, it's pretty bad. I could daily it; it'd be fine. But I sent him a screenshot of an ad in my Facebook newsfeed 2 days ago.
Can you bring up a picture of the Bolt?
We can.
I just want to. I know what it looks like, but I want my not like rose-colored glasses of it being a small hatchback.
And it's just the proportions are a little awkward. If you slammed one and you put it on big wheels and tinted it and chrome deleted it, it would look okay. You could do it. But like it's pretty narrow. It's really tall.
I'm already telling you what I don't like about it. It's the that fake front grille. That's what does it for me.
Is it the size of it, the shape of it? What is it?
It's the existence. Can you just pop that into like lime green?
Yeah, lime green. Here we go. Oh, jeez.
Well, so that way, that's gonna give me like the
you can get the body lines better.
Yeah, the body lines better. It doesn't blend in as much for our viewers.
But I mean, that thing has a 60 kilowatt hour battery and a pretty decently powerful motor, and it's cheap. Like you can get one of those for the low, well, we'll say mid-20s, brand new.
Do you remember what I was talking about last episode with roof lines?
Yeah.
Or episode before last.
Well, I mean, I don't remember when, but I do remember the topic.
This is one of those cars where it's got an all right roof line, but this rising belt line makes it look worse. I think if they kept that super low belt line through those back windows, that would look really cool.
And honestly, I sat in one of these at the auto show, and that low belt line where it jumps down after the side view, it makes it worse. Like it's not as nice to be in because of that, because you feel awkward, like you're gonna fall out of the car.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That's the thing. If that belt line was just consistently low, I think that would help. Or if it was consistently high.
Right. The fact that it dips down like a Power Stroke from the early 2000s.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like that's not stylish.
Really
Stop
weird.
it.
And
like
then I really hate that fake window in the back because it's not a real window.
Right.
On that C-pillar. That was gonna be on my like 4th or 5th for my least favorite design cues. But yeah, that grill. I think if they had just made the hood dip down and they made a little slit instead of the big black grill thing, I think that'd look a lot better.
And I mean, it's not an offensive looking vehicle, but they could have done better with it, and I'm optimistic about what they add.
That's the tagline for everything that GM has made.
I know, but it's like they need to try harder.
For the last 30 years. Is like, that's good.
But
yeah, it's good. That's good. All right.
But again, this has a 60 kilowatt hour battery. Like this thing is the cheapest high range EV you can buy. Like by a long margin, still full tax credit eligible. Like this just kicks the ever living dick out of a Tesla.
Yeah, that's where they should really be marketing it.
Seriously, like market to Model 3 buyers.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, your tax credit's gone. How about you pay $7,000 less for the car to begin with, and then you get $7,500 back too.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
They're just doing it wrong.
No, it's GM still being GM. They've been doing this for years, and this is why like people are
That's how you know they haven't changed.
People are like, why don't you like American cars? I'm like, because they haven't made anything that demands my attention. Right. They make things that are fine.
Well, they have, but they've canceled them all.
Yeah, well,
they're cars.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I really wanted to like the Cruise hatchback, and they canceled it immediately.
Well, we did like the Cruise hatchback. We almost made that our 2018 car of the year, the diesel manual hatchback.
Yeah, it was
and then we went G70, and what was the second one?
And then we ended up having to change your name and put everything on hold.
Whatever.
But like they make these attempts, and it's like they've gotten really close before in the past. Like to go really far back, the Buick Riata was extremely close to being a very cool car.
It was. Just ended up being front wheel drive.
Yeah, ended up being front wheel drive. The Cadillac Alante, same thing.
Pin in Farina body, North Star engine, front wheel drive.
Yeah, it was the 11th. They
phoned it in at the 11th hour.
They literally had a transmission tunnel designed into the car.
Oh, so it's like the Legend.
Yeah.
Like rear wheel drive on sale, front wheel drive.
Yep, exactly. It's just really, really frustrating. And you know, I can do more than that. I mean, the Monte Carlo's front wheel drive.
Like a W body?
The W body Monte Carlo. Very, very cool. I'm not even gonna blame the front wheel driveness of it.
It says Intimidator on the back, and it's front wheel drive.
I'm gonna say it was the the lack of effort on the body.
Okay.
It was the lack of effort that they did that. They just
shaped out of marshmallow.
I think it's so close, and like at the 11th hour, they managed to just totally fuck it up. So.
It's one of those things where it translates from the concept to production just badly enough where it's just no.
And then they do give us something directly as a concept, and you get the Pontiac Aztec, and it's terrible. So, I don't want to end today's episode on a sad note. I want to talk about things we learned today. Burger, what have you learned in this last week?
I I learned that a human being can pack an apocalyptic amount of shit into a small space.
Oh, yeah, that's what I do all the time. People are like, how can you only bring one suitcase? And then they see the inside of my suitcase, and then their mind is blown.
Dude, yeah, I finally finished cleaning out my last storage unit in Plymouth, and, like, it was already half emptied when I got there, but, like, my rent ends before I get back from Finland, so I needed to clean it out. I got there, I'm like, this will be 2 trailer loads and, like, 4 Tesla loads, no problem. I get 4 trailer loads in, and it's finally empty. It's just like the amount of stuff that, like, the density and how you can pack stuff in. So I've gotta stop
Have you ever tried like going to like Up Down and playing like their Tetris tournaments?
No, but I love Up Down.
You'd probably do really well.
But
what I learned this week was that the Mark II GTI, and I guess golf by extension, they had really bad door sagging issues on them, like all of them. It was really weird, yeah.
Is that just like a weak piece of sheet metal that the hinges are bolted to?
Yeah, it's exactly that. And then the little kind of stopper thing that...
Oh, the door brake.
The door brake. The bolts come loose on those.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and that contributes to it. If you tighten up that door brake, you can usually cut
get a little more time
sag.
out of it.
You can get the sag cut in about half. But if you... it doesn't really take a whole lot to fix it. You just need to reinforce it a little bit. So... I learned that at work. So
Fair
notice that. Gianna, you learned something exciting that you wanted to tell me about.
I did learn something exciting. So this week we're studying our for a practicum that's about what happens to bones post-mortem.
Okay.
And so...
for our less than smart listeners, that means after death.
Yes. And anti-mortem. But, you know...
Also, you should be ashamed of yourself if you're not smart.
Yeah, so...
Go read a book.
So,
I hate books.
We're learning
Don't listen
about,
to
like,
him.
bone damage and weathering post-mortem and, like, for bone damage, anti-mortem, but, you know, whatever. So we had to...
Naturally.
Part of it is we have to age an individual, and there was...
like, figure out how old somebody is after death, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Time of age at death.
Okay.
And so... not the age of the bones, which is another thing, but
Okay.
there's an individual, and we had to age the specimen, and we're going off by teeth charts, and we aged the individual at like 14 years, and we're like, wow, that's young. And somebody I was working with was like, well, how does a 14-year-old donate their body to science? And so, it's like there's probably a million ways, but like obviously really interested on the subject, so we were talking to my professor, and I guess India exported a lot of their bodies, and that was one of their biggest exports in the 90s was bodies for medical use.
For a long time, 80s, 90s, I think like started like in the 20s.
It sounds like a radio station catchphrase. 80s, 90s, and today.
Because I think like it started with the British Empire.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know when it started, but...
So this was an Indian export body then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really
there you go.
All right.
So now you know that GTI doors sag. You can put a bunch of crap in a car, and that in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, India's top export were dead bodies.
Yeah.
The more you know.
You are welcome, everyone, for the vast gamut of weird knowledge you learn on Carbitrage every week. Thanks very much for listening, and we will catch you guys on the next Saturday.
Yes. And if you are streaming, continue streaming.
Yeah, hang with us on Twitch if you're streaming. We're just going to keep it right on going. So thanks, everyone. We'll catch you on Saturday. Bye.